Hey YouTube, Freaky Illusionist here. I just want to do a quick tutorial on the Dead Patient Illusion costume. I'm actually going to do a tutorial on just the stuffing aspect of it. I followed Quazilogical's tutorial on the basic armature and the general idea of the costume. It's a fantastic tutorial. I'd highly recommend that you go check it out. I'll try to put some links in my description there so that you can just click that. I wanted to go into the stuffing though because to me his tutorial didn't really go into the greater details of that part of it, so I wanted to show you what I did. There's going to be a number of different ways that you can do this. You can do it on the cheap, like he kind of mentioned in his tutorial, by using cardboard boxes, and you could use like newspapers, different things like that. For me, I wanted to do something quick and easy. I didn't want the stuffing to make a bunch of noise, and I wanted to go hyper realistic on it. So I'll show you what I did there. A couple things that I did when I started doing his tutorial on the armature. I ended up using, he talks about baling wire, and I ended up using 16 gauge baling wire. I felt like that had the most rigid feel, to keep the arms in place, things like that. The other things that you'll need, you'll want to, get yourself a wire cutters, pliers. On some of the screws, I ended up actually using some lock threader, and the reason why I did that, I just want to make sure that the bolts that actually come off, when you're using it, things like that. Other things that you'll need for this tutorial, you'll need scissors, duct tape. I really like the Gorilla brand of that. Tears off really easy. It sticks really well. Masking tape. Get yourself a tailor's tape measure, because what you end up using with this is, when you're measuring your own dimensions, you can follow that and how thick the foam is being put on the armature. Other things that I purchased, now with his tutorial in rigging up the legs onto your shoulders, you end up using belts, and that's perfectly fine. It'd be the cheapest way to go, obviously, if you have some laying around the house, or you go to Goodwill or something like that. For me, I just wanted to, I was at the craft store, and I ended up buying these. So it's a paracord belt buckle, and the reason why I did that is I felt like, rather than looping things through and going that direction, I want just a quick release, where it's nice and easy to take it on and off. The other thing that you'll want to buy, in case you don't go the belt, the existing belt method, get a 2-inch Poly Pro belt, and then just get enough length that when you kind of measure, from back around your shoulder to your belt, the distance there times 2, and then also around your waist. So just get enough length so that you have that. For the paracord belt buckle, you'll need 3 of them. So when you're done following his tutorial, you'll end up with a leg similar to this. So you got your foot, you got your shin, calf, and then your thigh. After you're done stuffing it, you'll end up something like this. So again, I took measurements of my own leg, and I kind of followed that. I tapered it down. I've got your kneecap and then your shin and thigh. And then, so you just end up wrapping it around and then you kind of duct tape it in place and you'll be good to go. Then you're gonna put your clothes, your costume over that. So with this stuffing that I'm using, this is what you'll need to buy. I ended up using 2 of these. So this is the Duck brand foam cushioning. Ends up being 40 feet. Just need 2 of them. They're roughly 10 bucks a pop, so it's not too bad. For the arm part of it, again, measured my bicep area, my forearm, and just wrapped it around, again, tapering it down a little bit. Actually, for this section, I just wrapped a little bit separate portion of it right here. I may end up putting a little bit more foam in here, just for the bicep area. Depends on, once I put on the costume, just see how it looks at that point. For the fingers, some of the remaining foam here, I ended up actually kind of wrapping around the metal wires here, and then I used masking tape for that. And then you can put the glove or whatever you're going to use for the hand, and that will work just great. I'm actually going to do a clown version. I'm not going to be doing the surgeon behind me. I'll be doing a kind of a scary clown. So I moved to a different location here. I ran out of time and my neighbor started mowing the lawn, so didn't really work out that well. So, but I wanted to continue on and show you a little bit more on how to build up the calf. So you've got the initial wrap. You're going to take that duct tape and tape it to the board, and then wrap it. I ended up wrapping it 4 times, with each square. So 4 of these, and then I took, I guess about 7 or so, and I cut them in half. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start to build up that calf on the back, and you're going to split them, kind of overlap them, so you're kind of building up that middle section a little bit. But you're also going to be cutting some more down here because it's going to taper down to that ankle area. So I'm going to take, and you're not going to want it all exact, because you want to add to that taper effect, not just a big chop off. So have some varying lengths to accomplish that effect. So I'm going to just take a few here. And you want to save these because a lot of these scraps you can use for the fingers on the torso armature, and wrap it around the wires. So you want to make sure you hold on to those. So now that I've got that cut, I'm going to gather these together a little bit. You're going to want the longest ones in the back here, the first ones that you lay down. And then, like I said, you're going to want to just stagger them a little bit so that you're kind of building up the back portion more and it's blending into the other part of the leg. And so you're gonna want to keep your edge towards the top of that leg, so then it's starting to taper down. So And once you have it, I want to kind of see what it's going to end up looking like. And then once you're happy with the results, you can just take your duct tape and wrap a couple pieces around to secure it. Now you're starting to be able to see some of that shape where it tapers down, and then some of the remaining foam here, I'm going to actually kind of tape around here so that it's kind of building up that ankle. I'm going to put one more piece of tape here just to kind of close it all together. There you have it. So you can see how it kind of contours to the back calf muscle here and then into the ankle. And you know, you can play with it, you know, the thickness of the ankle if you want it thinner, you know, just kind of change that up a little bit as you go. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. So now we're to the thigh portion. So for my dimensions, I ended up using 8 of these squares for the initial first wrap on the thigh. So what we're going to do, and then the remaining for the taper, for me was about 11 of these squares. So then remaining on that roll is about like this, and that's going to actually be part of the bicep, part of the arm, and then also the rest of the taper that we'll get out of the 11 sheets will actually be done for the forearm. So just like every single one of these, you're going to start with taping the initial one to the armature. So when you do this, you're going to want to line up that edge of the foam to the edge of the board. And you're going to want, for the thigh, you're going to want to start it right above the knee here. And then once you have that taped on, you can just start wrapping it. You want to kind of make sure it's kind of tight, so don't leave much gap. So now once you have that, you're going to start your cut right down here, because then kind of start angling in towards the very bottom to about here, because then it will slowly taper up to where you're going to have the thickest part. So here's where I won't go any farther as far as the taper goes. So now that you have that done, You're gonna tape it down and you're gonna keep everything hugged up to the top portion of that thigh. And there you have it. So now there's your leg. So you got the nice taper down. Now we're gonna actually, we're gonna end up putting just a tiny bit of foam right on the kneecap, just, you know, to give it a little padding there. Yeah, there it is. Looks good. I would put another piece of tape, you know, on the side here just to kind of reinforce so it doesn't unravel at all. So for the kneecap and the elbow, I just had a piece of foam laying around the house from different packaging. Could be anything, styrofoam, whatever you got. You could even, if you have a bunch of scraps from, you know, this area, you can kind of build that up too. But basically just cut out a piece similar to what you're seeing here. It doesn't have to be precise, just eyeball it up. And then taper on. For the elbow, it can be even smaller, a smaller piece of chunk of foam, just to kind of fill in that area a little bit. And there, it's all done.